Hello there. Welcome in. Kirby is back in the audience. Yay, one of our regulars. Hey, Kirby. Oh, hey, Jay Wiley. Haven't seen you in a minute, but also a regular and a moderator. Good to see you. We got, oh, yay, LMV. Every season, it's the same doggone thing. Yes, 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 exactly. And Monique, hola, hola. Yes, I love it. Hola, everybody. Good to see all of you. Welcome back in. I thought the mixer actually went pretty well. Um, uh, this week. I thought it was pretty good. So let's kind of go around the room. Sean, how did you perceive the mixer? Just an overall general take of the mixer.
Well, I think these women were more put together than the first set. Uh, they were very impressive to me.
Okay. Okay. Yes. More impressive. More impressive in what way, though?
Well, I mean, I think they were very much aesthetically pleasing to me. It was a better
Oh,
looking
so
group of women to me.
physically, they look
Uh, as
good to you.
as well as I think the choice, whether it was production or not, I'm not sure, but their occupations and all that, they seem to be uh, very, very established women for the minimal quality of the men that they
Wait a
were
minute.
bringing.
Did I hear something bad about the guys? What are you saying about these men? They're not holding up to the ladies?
I don't think all the men were equally compatible economically with the women. I think a lot of the men were about the fluff and no substance.
Ooh. Wait a minute. We got to pass this ball over to
That's just my
JR.
opinion.
JR, did,
IMO.
thank you. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. JR, you heard that? What were your thoughts on that?
I thought to be fair, I thought the men on the second mixer actually came with more substance than the guys on the first one. Um, they seemed more compatible with the ladies that were present. Um, like there were some guys last week where you saw them, you saw what they were wearing, you saw what they were talking about, and you were like instant. Now you're in trouble straight away. This time, um, yeah, like the guys definitely seem to be making an effort to get to know the ladies, and I think a few of the ladies were had their guards up, and that prevented them from maybe opening up as much as the guys would have liked. But I thought this mixer was better than last week's one for sure.
Hmm. Okay, a good effort.
Mhm.
All right. I'm just kind of typing something in here. Just a question for the chat. Okay. Oh, Nightbot's in here. Oh Lord. We're gonna see how that goes. I've had mixed I've had a mixed relationship with Nightbot, but okay. Okay, so
Yeah, welcome,
let's
Costello.
go ahead and
Wow.
get started because we said we're not going to keep you guys long. Okay, so we open up at the Fort Worth Mixer Part 2. We've got Vanessa, who is a lovely 35-year-old divorced flight attendant who has children, and she wants us to know that she was married to a Caucasian gentleman. um, I think I'm wondering if some folks will maybe likely have an issue with this fact that she was married to this Caucasian gentleman, but we're going to find out. Meanwhile, Alonzo, 35, and who is 6'3", and is a claims adjuster with locked hair. Seems happy to meet Vanessa. He's vibing with her in the beginning as they sit and sip their mimosas. And then you got Patricia, who's a very beautiful, tall lady, newly transplanted to Dallas, the Dallas Metroplex area, and she's in tech. You've got Maya, 30, never married, who says she's ready for her husband. She's quite beautiful. Laylene, who is 41 from Sierra Leone, also very beautiful. All women are beautiful, by the way. And she's chatting it up with Johnson, with Jonathan, who is 36, divorced with one child, and he happens to be from Nigeria. So they speak in their native African language, and I see them kind of clicking. Tommy enters the room to let everybody know what's up, what it do, what it do. He explains that what happened was we have two mixers this season instead of one. That's the reason why this one's so much smaller. What do you guys make of this thus far with all these various scenes? What are you guys thinking? Sean, you want to give us your take on this so far?
I think they should combine the mixers. To me, it was just a waste of time to have two different mixers.
Okay, but let me ask you a more specific question. What did you think of when we meet Vanessa, the flight attendant, right? Very pretty young lady, has her hair up in the French braids. What did you think of the fact that she told us right from the get go that she had been divorced from a Caucasian gentleman? Do you think that's going to make any difference with some of the gentlemen in this group?
I don't think so. I see her interaction though. She has more of an interaction with Chaz later on, but I mean, she's very reserved, seeming like on camera. I don't know whether she has a flat
Okay.
personality or she's bubbly or what have you. I don't know, but just the way she
Mm-hmm.
comes across on camera.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fair enough. That is fair enough. I think she's like she does give a little reserve, very professional. Um, was that your same take, Jr. on Vanessa, the flight attendant?
Uh, she seemed very reserved, and I don't necessarily think it's going to be something that the guys hold against her, with her being previously married to a guy from a different ethnicity. I think it's something that she may find a bit different, um, trying to date and get to know these guys, depending on how long she spent in that marriage and how long she's been single. Because different ethnicities, different culture, even though it's her own culture, but she hasn't been dating that. So, certain things, likes, requirements, attraction to different things, hobbies, all of those things are different to different men of different cultures. So, yeah, I think she may be a bit awkward to deal with at first, but it'll be um, her own hurdle to overcome in order to be successful in the show. Yeah. So I don't think they'll hold it against her now. I think it's something that she might have in the back of her mind every time she interacts with someone.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. That's interesting. That's a good point. I'm gonna keep my heart open that that will be the case. In my own experience here in the U.S., I don't know that that's really going to be true, though. I think in our culture here in the U.S., I think that it's much more acceptable for Black men to date outside of their race and far less acceptable, particularly to a man that you will be dating after you've already been in relationship with this Caucasian man. I think that's going to create some the word I'm looking for, but I don't think every black man is going to be very accepting of that. Whether he says it up front or whether he tries to play it down or doesn't say anything at all and talks behind your back, I think that is going to be an issue with a lot of black men. My personal opinion, but I appreciate what you're saying. I would think that it should not be an issue no matter who you've dated, but I know that I'm a lot more open minded about dating interracially than a lot of people are. Dee
Right.
has a comment. Dee, we're going to kind of come back to that. I got it up on the screen right now, but she brings up that Vanessa, she was hoping that Vanessa would not be the first to let go, being a darker skinned woman. Dee, I put that up on the screen specifically because tomorrow at 7:30 p.m., we should be having that lady here. Patricia should be here. Patricia Pretties will be here at 7:30 p.m. And another thing, the guest co-host on that interview will be Tequila from last season. So that should be very, very interesting. And we're also going to get into Blacks in Technology. Blacks in Technology. So we're not only going to talk about Ready to Love, but we're also going to talk about Blacks in Technology, which I'm very excited about. Um, so that's a thought too. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to move forward from that. We talked about Vanessa a little bit being married to the Caucasian gentleman. Alonzo, the claims adjuster with the locks. So we move forward. We got Maya, who's never married, says she's ready for her husband. Laylene, who's we talked about that. Laylene, who's from 41 from Sierra Leone. What did you think, Jr.? Let's go back to you. What did you think of Laylene and the interaction between her and Jonathan, being that they were both from originally their parents were from Africa?
Wholesome interaction. They have that in common. Um, so maybe they align on certain traditional views or beliefs or whatever. Um, you know, I think if they're looking for someone who suits them culture wise, then that would be a safe bet. It's still early days though. But yeah, I thought it was a very wholesome interaction and they bonded over something they have in common. So yeah, all good.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought they interacted, and they both are quite again quite appealing aesthetically, very beautiful, right? What
Hmm.
were your thoughts? Thank you for that. What were your thoughts, Sean, on these two?
Well, I think it's a couple of things. Number one, it kind of puts me in mind of Chris and Katarina from last season. You know, Chris was Nigerian and Katarina was from family was from Sierra Leone as well. But on
Yes.
the other hand, um, they do have that commonality, shared commonality of West African experience. However, Jonathan is an American born African versus being an African born in Africa and then transplanted to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about Laylene. She may have been born in Africa, West Africa, Sierra Leone, and then migrated here. I'm not sure. But Jonathan, of his own admission, says that he was born here in the United States, but he
He
has
did.
Nigerian parents. So I don't know how much of the culture would be uh, an obstacle for their relationship if any relationship will ensue between those two. But that's what I think.
Very good point. And you know what? I guess maybe we'll find out through more conversation with Jonathan, because that's an excellent point that you brought up, because he did mention that he actually was. He said he was Nigerian, and then later on he kind of backtracked and said, "Well, actually, I was
Hmm.
born here in the U.S." So um, it'll be interesting to find out
Yeah.
from him, someone talking to him, if his wife, his ex-wife, if she were Nigerian or if she was American. That's what
Hmm.
I would be curious as to. Um, and that's an excellent point, like you said, because we know last season we had what was the gentleman's name that was from Nigeria?
Chris.
Um, Chris, yeah, Chris. Chris.
Chris.
Thank you. Yes, Chris. Chris kind of talked in between, mixed game, like on the fence, like I'm from Nigeria. I believe in being the protector, provider. Um I wasn't really quite clear where he was, because once he got with some of the ladies, he didn't like the assertiveness that the American women had. So my thing was like, maybe he should have stayed within his culture to have that, like we put the men up on a pedestal the way some cultures do, because here in America, that may not necessarily be each woman's thing, is to put a man up on a pedestal when we're out working hard all day long, just like you do. So I think that's going to be interesting to find out. I would really love to know whether or not Jonathan's wife was Nigerian born or Nigerian, from a Nigerian family. One of those two things. That would be my question to that situation. Um, so Tommy enters and talks about the mixer. We've got Rashina 38. and Lamar divorced and wants to go skinny dipping. What did you think about Rashina and Lamar? They're talking, they're sitting around. Lamar, he talks to the two ladies. I think the other lady was what, Vanessa?
Vanessa,
Was that Vanessa?
Vanessa,
Y-
it was Vanessa.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He talks about to the ladies about are they spontaneous? And so for him, spontaneous means that you have to go skinny dipping with him. And of course, Vanessa, we know, like you said, she had a very reserved reaction. I think, well, what do you guys think? And then I'll give my input. But Sean, what did you think about her reaction? Because she seemed quite taken back to him bringing up skinny dipping, and then even a new beach for a first date.
I would too. I would too. But to go off your question a little bit, to me, he same script, different cast. He's a mixture to me of Marvin and Habib from last season.
Okay.
Uh, Now, whether he talks a lot and backs it up and is into it as much as he says he is, like Marvin is was, or whether he just likes to agitate like Habibi did, I don't know. But to me, he's a mixture of those two. To me,
That's it. That's it. He's given well, he's given some kind of assertive vibes at this point. What do you think?
hmm
Thank you for that. What do you think, JR?
Uh, I think the I think he chose the wrong kind of example of spontaneity because not many people, having not known you, will be thinking about just taking off their clothes at your say so and skinny dipping, right? I don't think that's something that grown adult people uh, would do. So I think that was a mistimed or misjudged thing to say. But it let me know
Hmm.
what's on his mind first of all while being around these ladies. Um, because spontaneity is very important. If you're always rigid, boring, predictable, can kill the fun very quick, kill the mood very quickly. So if spontaneity is a challenge for some people, hearing the you know nude beach and yeah, that's going to be a turn off straight away. So um, someone who's very how can I put it, not withdrawn, but someone who's very reserved. That's the word. Someone who's very reserved is not going to take kindly or match with someone who is thinking about that so soon. As we
Yeah.
saw,
Yeah.
she was
Yeah.
she was quite taken aback. Vanessa, when they was, she was quite. You could see that she had her spidey senses tingling as soon as she
Uh-huh.
said that.
Because I think the thing of it is that men maybe don't consider that we as women, at that young of an age, typically we're almost always inundated with men who want to see us naked, whether they say it or not, or whether they're whistling at us, or whether they're trying to pinch our arse, or whatever the thing is. So, frankly, you can sometimes get burnout. You can get burnout from that. Um, I think that I'm going to ask you a question, JR. How would you, if you were a dating coach, let's just throw you into, let's take you out of the, uh, I'm sorry, I'm losing my train, not my train of thought, but my, what do you call it? Your personal training. But let's
Mhm,
take you out of your personal training coaching mode and put you into dating coaching mode. What
mhm.
would you have said to Vanessa how to respond to a gentleman who brings up such a thing at a mixer? How could she have better responded?
I don't think there's anything wrong with her response. I think there's something wrong with
Okay,
him with his example.
okay,
Her response was fine. Like she's very reserved, and like you said before, she's coming into a space where she's been married to someone else, like of a different ethnicity. She's probably looking to be eased into those type of conversations rather than that being the first thing that you come out with. So, um, as a dating coach, I don't think her response was bad. I would be coaching him to say, "Listen, man, you can't be." bringing that up as soon as you meet someone. You only known this lady for 30 seconds, both of them, and that was what you came out with. That's gonna off put like most women I can think of. Like they'll be off put by that. By that, that wouldn't be something that they're gonna take you seriously after that. That's definitely, like Sean said, a Habibi type move. So
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. I guess so. I think though, I'm gonna just say for myself. So if I were advising Vanessa, you're on a dating show, you're at a mixer. I would have liked for her in her back of her mind to be prepared to hear some of the wildest questions and to have a poker face and say, "Oh, that's interesting." No, I don't think I would be spontaneous enough to do that. But on the other hand, I'm spontaneous enough to do this. You call me and say, "Hey," early in the day, say, "Hey, let's go to dinner tonight." I, if I'm available, would say, "Yeah, hey, sure, let's
yeah,
go." That's spontaneous. You know what I'm saying?
the,
But I get what you're saying.
yeah.
But I also think that part of the problem of this show is, like we say all the time, it's a game show, and sometimes we have to play games to establish relationships.
Wait, you've muted. Your sound's gone, Aubrey. Where's Aubrey gone? She just cut.
I don't know. She cut out for some reason.
Yeah,
Someone once said there are a lot of times in life where we have to play games to establish relationships.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she's gone. Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'll just say this. Just while she's,
Mm-hmm.
she's working on technical
Yeah.
difficulties right now. Um, yeah. Like I just think if she's already in an awkward position, hearing something like that would probably get her back up a bit more. Um, she'll be
True.
even more reserved about that. Yeah. So I don't think he read the
And
room
also,
well.
we all, yeah. And true,
Yeah,
we only hear the edited portion. We don't know the context of the full conversation.
that's true.
So it could have been a whole lot of stuff. It could have been a whole lot of stuff in between there that made
That's
her
true.
like I don't know about this guy. This guy's crazy.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
And also
Are
to
you back,
Aubrey's
Aubrey?
point,
Yeah.
Yeah. How's that now? Can you guys hear me?
yes, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Oh, thank
Good.
goodness.
Good.
Crazy Ellen. Look at Ellen. Look at what she's talking about. Oh my goodness.
You
Ellen
still
has got me
downstairs?
falling down. She's got me falling down the darn stairs and everything. Yeah, my internet's been acting up. I don't know if it's this wind or what. So guys, if we get cut off again, we're just gonna go ahead and call it a night, okay? But let's forge on. What were you guys saying though? Last thing we were saying
Yeah.
about Vanessa?
Yeah. So I was gonna say to your point. I mean, going out to dinner isn't necessarily spontaneous. I mean, it is spontaneous. It can be spontaneous, but it's also a very normal, ordinary, average thing to do on a date. So I think what he was trying to say was, are you spontaneous enough to do something crazy, like out there, something completely different, out of the norm, out of your comfort zone? And he chose that analogy, and it was obviously something that's going to off-put someone who's only known you 5 seconds.
Right, right. Yeah, I guess though to my point though, I think sometimes, like I said again, you have to take something just like at work. You sometimes have to take when somebody's being an asshole, you have to take what they're saying and turn it and twist it to what you want it to mean. You get what I'm saying? Because just like he took something as simple as spontaneity and turn it into something very, like you said, very
Sexual.
off-putting and sexual, right? She has the right to then take it back. We women have the right to take things and claim them and repurpose them. And that's why I was saying something like spontaneous could mean going out on a date without a 2-day notice. I don't know what you guys are doing nowadays, but back in the day, it used to be required etiquette that a man ask you 2 days in advance. If he wanted to take you out on Friday, if he hasn't asked you by Wednesday, um, then all bets are off, because chances are I've probably already accepted a date with another gentleman.
Yeah,
So
but
I'm just
well,
saying it's ways for her to utilize what he said, because he's starting off as a jerk. I think he's probably going to finish as a jerk.
yeah. The problem is like we are dealing with modern women and modern men. So traditionally, what used to happen. Times have changed now, and so guys are leading with the questions. What he's leading with, what he considers to be a valid thing. But like I said, it seemed mistimed to me. He doesn't seem necessarily like a traditional guy. Seems like a more modern dude, and
Yeah,
you
jerks
know,
are old fashioned. Jerks have been around since day one.
oh yeah. But traditional versus modern is what my point is.
Okay.
Like if you're expecting the traditional courtship between modern men and modern women, that's not going to happen.
No, 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 no. I guess I'm sorry. I said some things and went a little bit beyond where I wanted to go. My scope and my comment was really, and I guess Darika's point, she says we should move on. But I was just saying how it's okay, I think, for us to talk about, because the only reason why we do these shows is not just to recap them, but also to help one another out there
Hmm.
dating, people that are dating. So if we can't talk about that, then that's kind of that's kind of problematic, really.
Of
But
course.
yeah, that's all I was saying. I'm not saying, I didn't really want to focus on the part about old fashioned courtship. I wanted to focus on how someone takes a situation and turns it to their advantage, or at least makes it neutral. That's kind of where I was going from. But we
Okay.
can
Well,
move
she wasn't
forward.
capable. She wasn't
Yeah.
capable of doing.
In that moment, no, she wasn't. In that moment, you're right. You're absolutely right. She was not capable. She wasn't prepared, because I don't think she came in thinking that you're going to run into one or two buttholes. And I think, to me, that's the thing. Anywhere you go in life, in the public, you're going to run into buttholes. That's just par for the course. If you don't know people, they're going to probably be, somebody's going to be off-putting, somebody's going to be weird, somebody's going to be antisocial. You got all kinds of things that people could possibly be. So I'm saying, why not be prepared? But in the meantime, and in the tween time, um, we've got Maya is talking to Maya, who's talking to Jonathan. Jonathan tells Maya that he learned about dating, everything he knows about dating, from the TV shows Martin and the Fresh Prince. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts about that, Sean? Because you seem to be quite tickled. What are your thoughts?
Wow, that's crazy. He must have lived a sheltered life in order to learn about dating from Martin and the Fresh Prince. I could see that more so with Martin if you look storyline between him and Gina. Shout out to Detroit. Okay. But
Hmm.
anyway, I mean, I would not have said that. I mean, once again, I don't know if those were his words or that was something he was told to say, what have you. Because I mean, I would not have put that together. If you say you were born here in the United States and you learn about dating from TV shows and you're over 35 plus year old man, and wow, he must have lived a very sheltered life. Yeah,
Hmm.
he must. Yeah, I don't know how he got his ex-wife. I don't know how he got her, but that's crazy.
And I guess that begs the question too, like where are his role models? I mean, is there, he says he's from
Yeah.
Nigeria, or his people are from Nigeria, so I assume there's a father. Was the father present to give dating advice? Is there any siblings, an older brother, cousins? Typically, I don't know about, and I hate to generalize, but just saying personally, the Nigerian people that I know here in the Michigan area, they are very close knit to their family. The ones that are here, the ones that are still in Nigeria, constant contact with them, and they're very family oriented people. So I can't imagine that everything you're learning just comes off of a TV show. You don't ask your cousins, you don't ask your father, you don't ask your uncles how did they date their girlfriends, how did they pursue their wives. Like that does that click, or is everything just off of TV now?
Mm. Again, I think this is a generational thing. I think he's what in his 30s, so if you're
Mm-hmm.
growing up influenced by that, that's a problem because those shows are all fictional. There's nothing real about them shows. It's like
Mm-mm.
when I hear, like, as a man, I hear um things that tell me that all the lady knows is from R&B music, or she learned about dating for or relationships from watching romantic comedies. And
Movies. Oh,
yeah,
okay,
I just think,
rom-coms.
yeah, you haven't had real life experience.
Mhm.
You haven't
Mhm.
seen it growing up, or you haven't been around it. So therefore, it's so kind of like fiction, like that you've got your knowledge from.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's concerning from that standpoint. And yeah, I'm sure there'll be a lot more um, about that once some of the ladies pick up on that. They'll definitely want to grill him on that because Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv. I mean, if that's where you're basing your ideals and your marriage, etc., that's or your relationship, kind of crazy. I don't even think Will Smith had a solid. I mean, Fresh Prince had a solid girlfriend throughout the whole season. Every episode was a different girl that he was interested in, him or Carlton, right? So
No,
yeah, I
I
don't know.
know. That's what I was just about to say, because that show really wasn't about dating. That
No,
sitcom was really more about him being a kid, basically. So
exactly.
only at the very end did they bring in Tyra Banks. They brought in Jada Pinkett at that
Nia
time
Long.
before she was his wife, Nia Long. Jada Pinkett didn't make it because of the height gap in the filming, so they decided not to use her. They used Tyra Banks, they used Nia Long, and they had a couple of girls that he dated, but that was at the very end of the show, so it wasn't really a significant portion of Fresh Prince. The Fresh Prince was all about him being wealthy, and the cultural shock of him coming from the hood to a very affluent um, upper middle class household. That's what that show was about. It wasn't anything about dating or relationships in
Hmm.
that sense. So, but um, D brings up an excellent. Wait a minute, no, wait, that's yeah, okay. She brings up an excellent point because that's the next thing that I want to talk about. So, what did you guys think of? When Alonzo is playing in Laylene's hair, and Laylin, her hair, she's a young lady from Sierra Leone, has very beautiful, long, natural hair. Uh, she says she was disappointed that he said that was it Jonathan? Jonathan said she had good hair. Okay, okay, because I was going to talk about the other guy, Alonzo, playing in her hair. But yeah, good point, good catch. So we'll talk about that first off. Did that mean anything to you, Sean? Did you catch that at all, or no?
No, I didn't. I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that piece. I have to go back and watch that.
Oh,
But
okay,
I'm a person who does not. I don't believe in good hair, bad hair. Hair is just hair to me, whether you grow it or sew it. I mean, to me, I mean, uh,
you
it's,
say you an equal opportunity hair
I
lover.
mean,
I love
I mean,
it.
equal opportunity hair level.
I'm wearing my
Whether it
best wig
snaps
to
in a
Dallas
comb.
when I come.
Okay, whether it snaps in a comb or whether it just smoothly goes through it. I don't know. It doesn't bother me. If you like it, I love it.
Hey, I
So
heard that. I
I didn't
heard
catch it.
that. And then to the question too, so I guess this was two separate instances. Alonzo, who has the locks in his hair, he was playing in Laylin's hair later on. He kind of runs his hand through her hair. What did you think of that? Was it too forward for you, or was it just right?
Well, I mean, sometimes some men will push the button to see how far they can go. If you tell me, "Hey, stop! No, I don't like don't play with my hair. I don't like anybody messing with my hair." Then he would stop. He knows the boundaries right there. But if she just goes along with it, he's like, oh, well, I can do this again. I can do this again. So depends on the place where he was coming from with that. I think he was
Mhm.
trying to fill out to see how far, because a lot of black women, they don't like anybody messing with their hair. I mean, much less they don't even like to get their hair wet when they go to the pool. So hey, so I think he was just seeing how far he could go with it.
I agree. I agree. I think that was a boundary test right there. Absolutely. I
Yeah.
see that a lot. So, people talk about the modern and my old school way of dating, but actually a lot of things never change because that's very something that I've seen before is quite often in a first date or a meeting or a mixer where a guy is testing your physical boundary. And very good catch on that. Thank you for that, Sean. JR, what do you think about the hair situation? Is there such a thing as good hair?
Uh, yeah, I would say my culture growing up in Jamaica, like with Jamaican parentage, Jamaican culture,
Yes.
there most certainly is, but it's a very outdated um, it's a very outdated way of thinking because
Hmm.
nowadays most people have the same hairstyle. They wear the same wigs. They wear the same everything. So you can't really distinguish that. Even the ladies that do have so-called good hair are still wearing hair pieces and whatnot. And so, yeah, it's not really a discussion anymore. Um, Everyone seems to go to the same hairstylist or wig shop. So
Mm.
it's not really a thing.
But JR say everybody got the same hair.
More Eurocentric dynamics.
I
Mm.
don't know. I was just thinking I've been seeing a lot
Yeah.
of ladies here in braids, professional women in braids and the crochet hairstyle, which is definitely not Eurocentric. It's very, very cultural for our people. But
That's more
you're
Afrocentric.
right.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but you're right though. I think the beauty what black women have learned in the last 10, 20, 25 years is that we actually have the wherewithal, the finances, the hairstylist, the technology to go with the Euro hairstyle. You can relax it. Some people have naturally more straighter hair than others. Some people like me have kinky hair. And we can choose to wear wigs, we can choose to wear weaves, or we can choose to wear our hair out of what they call in the summer. I like to wear sometimes a wash and go. But the thing of it, the beauty of being a black woman is you get to wear your hair how you want to. And men, I think now are finally, black men are finally starting to adapt to that. Because I know, like, probably, I'm going to go back probably a good 20 years ago when I first started wearing my hair natural. I got a lot of pushback from men and from some
Mhm.
women who didn't like natural hair. They didn't like the kinky hairstyle. Some of my older friends thought, like, why are you wearing your hair nappy? But I think that the beauty of it is now more and more people are accepting it, are embracing it, and we are accepting ourselves and our hair as it naturally grows out of our scalp. Some of
It
us
Do,
is.
kinky coily.
do
Huh?
you think that this? Do you think that's to do with beauty standards changing though?
Yeah. And but the only way they change, so if you think about it, JR, the only way things change is that if there's pushback. If I decided to wear my own natural kinky hair and stop relaxing it after 20 plus years of relaxing my hair and having been in the beauty industry, and one day I decide to wear my hair out kinky, coily in a style, and someone says, like I said, I got a lot of pushback, but I didn't stop wearing it that way. I kept wearing it that way. And gradually they're like, oh, I do like that on you, or your locks are growing, or this is growing, or that's pretty. And more people started wearing their own natural hair. More younger sisters said, hey, I like that. I think I'm going to try that. And it becomes a thing. But until you have a change of mindset and a change of what people are doing, how will people know that they like our natural hair if they never ever see it? They always see it with some kind of relaxer in it or some kind of wig on top of it. And there's nothing wrong with any of those things either, because I also wear the wigs and I've worn the weaves. So I think what I'm trying to say is I think that the beauty of being a black woman to me is that I can do all of those things and do them well.
Yeah, and also don't forget to mention there's hair damage from using a lot of chemicals and products in your hair too. So natural is probably the
Absolutely.
best way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That, and you're right. And that was one of the reasons I came out of the perm relaxed culture, because we found out, the world found out, and a lot of us women already suspected, earlier on, that the relaxers were actually causing some physical damage, leading to possibly up to, just a lot of, I don't want to get into technicals YouTube,
Yes,
right? But yeah,
mm-hmm.
but leading to a lot of things, and there's actually been, massive lawsuits here in the states. I don't know about over there in the UK, but there is a pot of money, a pot of gold is sitting there for any of you women. I think it's still available, to be in on a class action suit, if you were a person who constantly relaxed your hair and found out that you have issues as a woman, fertility wise, or carcinogens and things like that. Won't get into all of that, but yeah, but that's out there. So yeah, that, we'll move forward from that point. And I thought this was interesting. So Chaz is sitting there and he's talking. Now, who's the lady that's, has the blonde braids? I didn't quite catch her name. Could you tell me, Jr.?
Is it Rashina?
The
Is it Rashina? Rashina?
I thought Rashina had
Is it
her hair.
Rashina?
No, Rashina had blonde hair, but it wasn't in braids, though I didn't think. So I think
Mm.
there's another very light skinned lady with blonde hair, but she's
Oh,
talking. Who is that?
I can't remember her name. I know you. Yeah.
I know we're horrible. Forgive us, guys. But if anybody out there in the chat knows her name, please drop it
Patrice.
in the.
Someone put Patrice.
Yes, that's it. Patrice. She's talking to, Chaz, and she's telling him that she owns her own transport business. And then he tells her, like, he joins in and he says, "Well, I also drive a dark bus." And she says, "You do?" And then he says, "No, actually, I'm an analyst." And they laugh about it. But I thought it was funny that he was referencing the whole bus driver, controversy from last year. What did you think about their interaction, JR?
Yeah, he was joking around with her. I think it was just lighthearted. Wasn't
Hmm.
even a thing I don't even think it was intentional enough to see what she would say. You know, if he would be eliminated or anything. I just thought it was a lighthearted joke.
Yeah,
But
I thought so too.
yeah, but she seemed to get excited, and hearing that it's someone that could possibly be in the same field as she is. Um,
Right, that's what it was.
yeah, but yeah, just a lighthearted joke, in my opinion.
Yeah, it
Nothing,
was it was cute
nothing
that
deep.
inter yeah, it was cute, that interaction though too. I couldn't think of her name because I was thinking of Patricia, and I was like, no, it's not Patricia, but yeah, Patrice. Sean, any thoughts on the little lighthearted jesting?
Yeah, that I mean that was spot on what GR said, so I agree with him. So I don't have to add anything further to the comment.
Okay. Right, exactly. Asa, it's the maintenance with our black hair. It's oftentimes like, how long is it gonna take me in the morning? It's gonna take me an extra 2 hours to do my hair. That's why we, change up into some of these, easier to maintain hairstyles. Absolutely, definitely agree with you on that. Um, okay, so we've got that out the way. Um, we see Alonzo talking to Vanessa. Again, Vanessa's very reserved. Alonzo's the gentleman with the locks. He seems to be failing to connect with Vanessa. There's a scene where I think it's, Maya sitting there, Alonzo sitting there with the two women, and Maya very, very smartly decides to go excuse herself. Vanessa, who doesn't catch on quite as quickly, is sitting there. So finally, Alonzo says, "Would you like to go get a drink? And you want to excuse yourself?" And then she says, "No, I'll stay here." And I'm thinking to myself, but why? You guys aren't conversing, and there are other people that you should be meeting. Um, what was your take on that scene, Sean?
I found it kind of humorous because seeing that he was scratching his head, scratching trying to find a conversation with her
Mm-hmm.
because it seemed like he was just striking out. Nothing could move the needle. Uh, she was just like a
Yeah.
stone wall to him. I don't know whether he was just lame and had no game, or she wasn't interested in what he was saying or what have you. I'm just looking at it from my vantage point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's true. That's true. I think it just seems like to me Alonzo probably might be fun and nice for someone who wants that fun, youthful energy, but Vanessa doesn't necessarily seem to be the type of woman that is looking for his youthful energy. And but let's move over, Jr. What are your thoughts about that? What happened? Thank you, Derica. What do you think about the interaction between Alonzo
Uh,
and? Hmm.
I think there were more tumbleweeds than conversation, so
Hmm.
they didn't really connect. Like you might be right. The type of guy she's looking for may be more mature, have different qualities to what he has, even though he may be, someone's ideal there. Like it's definitely not hers. Um, I think the mixer is doing what it does, right? You pair up with
Yes.
someone, you sit down, you have a conversation. It's like speed dating, and if you don't hit it off
Yes.
straight away, then unfortunately you're in the hot seat. Whoever's up for elimination, you're in the hot seat, right? She wasn't necessarily you know um disrespectful or making faces or making it clear that she wasn't feeling him, but
Right.
the
No, she
lack of
wasn't.
conversation and chemistry is it was undisputable, right? It was definitely there and evident. Um, so I think that contributed to people finding her awkward.
Hmm. Right, right, right. Good point, good point. And then we have in the next scene, we have now this was a very touching scene, I thought. Um Rashina, which by the way, who was one of my early favorites right now. Rashina, who's the young lady that owns a hair salon, made me think about our girl Vernisha from Ready to Love, Make a Move. But Rashina tells Chaz that she has two kids from her
Mhm.
ex-husband, that relationship. And then she asked him, has he ever thought about marriage or children? He confides in her that he lost a son at 6 months who would have been 20 this year. Um,
Mhm.
what did you make of that interaction? Because that was a lot of vulnerability on display. What did you make of that, Sean?
Yeah, that was a very touching point to see that because I mean, for a man to come out with that in the first meeting or what have you, it shows a lot of humility on him, and I think that painted him as a very person that was much authentic as opposed to a lot of the other men who could have been just wanting to play around. And so I think that scored a lot of points, quote unquote, for him with his humility in that particular place and space.
Right, right. Yep. Uh, JR, same question. What were you thinking about that interaction between those two and that vulnerable admission that he had lost a son?
Um, I think he was vulnerable. He kept it real. Told her up front. Um, I think the key thing is there's a few key things. How she responded to his vulnerability and what it was that he actually shared.
Mm-hmm.
I think um, him sharing it with her was that is it something that he's going to lead with going forward whenever asked about it? Like, is he going to be upfront with everybody?
Mm,
Um, is it something that he still deals with in some
mm-hmm.
way? Like, is there
Okay.
still some unresolved issue about it?
Mm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
I mean, I appreciate the honesty, but um, yeah, I just hope it isn't something that's used against him later on, right?
Mm.
I don't think he was fishing for the sympathy vote because it wasn't even a men's time to get eliminated. So he shared
Mm.
it, probably in good faith, and because he was asked about his previous relationship situations, etc.
Yes.
So at this point, I don't have any concern, but I'll just be mindful that if you keep talking about something, then you're still dealing with it, right? And if you're opening up so early about something, it could be that you're either very over it and it's really a small thing to talk about, or it's at the forefront of your mind and you start leading with it every time you're asked a question.
Yeah,
Mm.
So it's interesting
true.
to see how.
Good. Good observations. Go, Sean.
Yeah,
You had something to add to that.
yeah. I think it could very well be a sore spot in his life because if he said his son would have been 20 now, and that's what 2023 when it was filmed, I guess. Um, so you're talking about 2003 to 2023. So a whole lot of life happens in between that time, and so maybe he just didn't feel like dating anymore. I don't know what happened to between him and the young lady that lost a child or what have you.
Hmm.
Maybe that drove them
Right.
further apart than it kept them together. So yeah,
Mm.
it could very well have been a mountain for him to climb, um,
Mm.
and hinder other facts of his life. So I mean, I want to know, okay, what happened between you and the lady that you had your child with? I want to know that dynamic. Because you didn't just lose a
Mm,
child; she lost a child as well. So
exactly.
what was that? Well, what was the climate like after that? Yeah.
Hmm.
That's a good point. And Darika makes another good point. Jr. Sean, Darika's out in the chat saying that's a good point because we're at a mixer. You're on a dating show for the next several weeks, and the topic of children is going to come up. So we're going to see, hopefully, over the next few weeks, has he emotionally dealt with that? Because he says that he's ready now for marriage and for kids, for other kids, other children. um, Rashina says to us in a confessional that she liked his vulnerability, which I definitely agree with her. I thought that was, I think for me, when a man is vulnerable that early on, typically what I've seen as time goes on is that it's because he has dealt with it. He has healed from whatever grief or loss that he had with whatever situation he shared with me, and he's sharing it early on, letting me know that I think, and this is the question that JR asked. JR, I think that he shared it with her specifically because Rashina had a good way around that question, around asking about how he felt about marriage and about children. And then he opened up. You could almost see the hesitation, and then he opened up. I don't know if it's something, it didn't seem like it's something that he just walks in and meets every woman and says, "Hey, by the way, I lost a kid 20 years ago." It didn't seem like that type of situation. And JR,
Exactly.
you made an excellent point. It's not the men's week to get eliminated.
Hmm.
So I really like this about him because it seems like, and we're gonna, everything is taken by a grain of salt, and we'll see what happens next week. But it just seems like he might be a genuine, authentic person on this show right now. That's what it
Mm.
looks. So let's see. Rashina also got um Mm, let's see. Wait a minute. In the next scene, also with Rashina, she just seems to really be bringing things out in people. She's talking to Jonathan. Jonathan is the one who has the Nigerian parents. She's talking about past hurts and dating, and Jonathan is opening up to her. So I think this is maybe when you own a hair salon, I'm gonna say I don't know what it is about somebody playing in my hair, doing my hair, shampooing my hair, but it's like you would tell them almost anything while they're doing your hair. You just open up and you're just pouring out all your secrets and all the past and everything. So I think she really
Just like the
has the
bartender.
key. Yeah, like a bartender, right? And like a therapist. I think these people that work with people a lot, yeah, they really seem to have that gift of gab, that way of pulling things out where they don't seem like they're prying, and they just ask just that right question phrase just that right way. But anyway, we move forward. Tommy returns and tells the ladies we're getting ready to play a game for to avoid elimination. And I want you guys to tell me, did you recall who said they lost themselves trying too hard to please their wife? You
Yeah, it
remember?
was Jonathan, the Nigerian dude, I think, was it?
Yes, that's right. Ding, 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 ding. You won that round. So we got Jonathan. Okay, right. And then who was it who um, wants to give to his wife something that he hasn't given anybody else? And do you guys recall who that
Lonzo.
was? If you're in the
Yeah,
Lonzo.
chat,
Lonzo.
you guys are
Lonzo.
beating the chat to these answers. Yes, Alonzo. Alonzo. Okay. Now, which gentleman said that women who wear too much makeup look like Muppets? Who said that?
And Chaz. Chaz.
That was Jazz,
Chaz.
right. Right, that was Jazz. Which man said that he loves the thick thighs? He loves the thick thighs. Ladies with the thick thighs. You guys, y'all give up on
That was
that one?
Alonzo,
Any
I think. No, that was
mm,
Lamar. Lamar. That was Lamar. That was Lamar. That was Lamar. That was Lamar.
ooh, you just keep digging the hole deeper. That wasn't him. Mm-mm. Anybody out in the chat know who said that? Let me go over here to the
Oh,
chat and see
okay.
what the chat is saying. Hold on.
That was all
Uh
the guys that said that.
oh, all the guys said that. Oh, okay. Well, according to my notes, it says that it was Chaz that said it specifically. So maybe all the guys were thinking it. Maybe all the guys
Mm.
said it, but they gave it to they said Chaz.
Hmm.
And then the last one, last question. Okay, who was the guy? And this threw me off. Who was the guy who said they'd had their gooch touched before? I didn't
That
even
was
know what a gooch
Jonathan.
Jonathan.
was. That
Jonathan.
that was
Jonathan. I ain't
John.
know what it was either. I ain't gonna lie to you. I
I'm
didn't know what
telling
it
you,
was either.
Sean, between all this pegging and all this gooching, I mean, you guys are taking me off.
Mm.
I had no idea. I had never heard it called that.
I did not know what pegging was from Married at First Sight this week, and now I learned what a gooch is. I don't need to know anymore, okay? I'm sorry. I don't need to know anymore. Um, so who won the competition? Who won this game? That was Maya. And I don't know if it was just me thinking this, but Maya didn't need to win this competition because Maya wasn't gonna get sent home this week, next week, the week
No.
after this week. She's never gonna be sent home according to her aesthetics. No way they're sending this child home. She's gorgeous. Um, Patricia, we gotta talk about Patricia. So
But she's
the
young. She's
competition.
young.
She's young and she's stunningly beautiful, just like last season or season before last. We had Morgan, who was stunningly beautiful, a little bit toxic but stunningly beautiful. So the
A
stunningly
little bit.
beautiful.
Come on,
I'm just
come on.
saying, I'm just
Nah,
saying,
you said a little bit. Just
the
say it fully what it
stunningly
was.
the
No,
stunningly
you
beautiful
talking about
woman.
Kira from that season. You talking about Kira. You talking about Kira from that season. You
No,
talking
no,
about
no.
Kira.
I said two
Kira.
seasons ago in Miami. Who was Lisa? Last season it was
Oh, okay. You said two. Okay,
no.
okay. More. Yeah. Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
You're
two
right. You're
seasons
right.
ago
You're
when
right.
we were in
You're right.
Miami.
2
Last
seasons ago was
season it was
Morgan.
last season the toxic person last season that was beautiful and a little bit
Janelle.
toxic, JR. That was Janelle, right?
What?
We can't send Janelle home.
Oh yeah, no, no, no. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
And
definitely,
she was a little
definitely.
bit toxic, wasn't
And
she?
not a little. What? Stop saying a little bit. You're giving a false characterization. Take the little bit off. Just say what you saw.
Okay, okay.
Well, they had to keep her for
That
ratings. They had to keep her for ratings.
that woman was okay. You get it. You guys know what I'm trying to say. Oh, wait a minute. Oh my goodness. No, you didn't say that about poor Morgan. Oh, Darika is with you. She's in your corner, JR. She said a little bit is an understatement.
Yep. And
Guys.
Ayo nod is absolutely correct both times.
You guys are
Shout out to
funny.
Ayo nod.
Shout out.
You are absolutely correct.
Okay. Um, okay, so getting back to we're trying to get back on track. We're gonna wrap this up in a second. So Maya wins the immunity. We're getting over here to Patricia. Patricia in the blue jumpsuit, very pretty, but she's asking the men about toe sucking. And I guess my thought on the asking about toe sucking at the mixer is kind of like the guy asking about the skinny dipping.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we at the mixer discussing toe sucking?
Exactly.
But what are your thoughts about it, JR, since you already started coming? What are your thoughts about that? I mean, you're a guy.
Like you said, it's very forward for the type of situation you're in. You only know these guys 5 seconds, and you're already talking about your kinks and your fetishes and all these other different things.
There's
Uh,
nothing wrong, by the way, ladies, with a little toe sucking
yeah,
on the
there's
gentleman's
nothing wrong
side.
with guys talking about skinny dipping either, but you know,
I wouldn't do it at the mixer. You're right. Not 5 seconds into knowing you know.
exactly. Imagine you ain't even seen the feet.
Yeah, well, she don't. No. The guy did ask her who was that. That was Alonzo. She had on some sandals, but apparently there was something blocking. He couldn't see the color of her nail polish, and he asked her, "Was
That's
it
what I'm
white?"
saying. He couldn't even
Good.
see the whole feet. Listen, if you're gonna put that, he doesn't even know what it looks like to be you talking about putting it in his mouth.
Mm.
Could be bunions, corns,
Corn.
Hammer
ingrowing
time.
nails,
Hammer
You
time.
said,
webbed feet. She could have webbed feet. We don't know.
"Ooh, well, no, I don't think anybody wants to suck those type of toes, but I'm talking about the good toes, the real nice toes, the well cared for toes." Okay, y'all leave me alone. Leave me alone. Um, Sean, up there, what are you thinking about Patricia bringing up this whole toe sucking thing? Is it too early at a
I think
mixer?
she was acting like she. It's too early, but I think she was acting like she was repulsed, but she was touring on back, so she was kind of playing both sides to see what the men would say and see how, filling them out,
Mm-hmm.
like the men's game to see how far they would go, what have you, and it backfired on them. But that's what I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, D has a point too. D says that she can see how these games could be biased and that they could use these questions given to particular women for the game. I don't know, D. Let me know if you're talking about questions to give during the mixer, or were you talking about the game that they actually played to get to avoid elimination? Um, and she says
Well,
I might be giving too much of a conspiracy theory, but I get what you're saying. I think if you're talking about um, production asking these women to ask certain questions, because to your point, so Patricia later on when the she does her confessional, she says, "Oh my God." The one guy who was into the toe sucking, she turned around and said, "Oh my God, he's into that. I'm not into that." So I'm thinking to myself, well, why would you ask the question anyway? And then I remember production. So like,
mhm.
why 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 allow production to talk you into that? Go ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
Yeah, and even one of the young ladies, I can't think of which one it was, that said, she said, "I wasn't asked that question. I don't. I mean, I don't know the answer to that one. I wouldn't ask that one." So she did not know. Uh, I guess they get a prescribed set of questions to ask each man, what have you, and what have you. I mean, because to me, of course, like we said, we only see the edited portion, and we don't know how much conversation is had between each person. And I'm sure some people gravitate toward other people that they feel more likened to, what have you. But one of the ladies said during the game, she said, "Well, I wasn't asked that question. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question." So
Mm-hmm.
evidently that wasn't discussed, or it wasn't for in her cards to ask per se.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Derica said, I guess, with Patricia, she says that maybe it's almost like she was putting words in his mouth because he said he liked rubbing feet. Now, I've heard a lot of men say they like to rub a woman's feet, especially um, could be a prelude to something. Hey, who knows, right? Might be a little foreplay, or it might just be a kind gesture. She's getting off work. She's been on her feet all day. She's a nurse. She owns a hair salon. She's standing up. Whatever it is, she's standing on her feet all day. And he says, "Baby, come on, let me rub your feet for you." That is a kind gesture. But she says that Patricia started asking about the sucking of the toes, which she thought was gross. But
Hmm.
then why are you asking? It's annoying. Why you keep asking this question if you don't even like it? Why are you asking that?
Hmm. Exactly.
Oh, okay. Last week, the game they played. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, so thank you guys. About to wrap this up. So we get to Tommy asks the men, which of the women are they feeling? Um, let's see. I got this in my notes here. It's here. It's here somewhere. Um, or maybe it's not. The women like, the men like Maya. She's genuine. She's ladylike. They like Laylen. She's open. She's funny. Rashina for being bubbly. But then again, some of the men didn't like Rashina, giving off the homey vibe. Patricia, who has her guard up, seems like she may be unhealed.
Hmm.
And when they call up the two women, they call up Patricia, of course, and they call up Vanessa. And
Hmm.
who goes home is Patricia.
Hmm. Hmm.
Did they make the right decision this time around, guys? We'll start with
Ooh.
you, Sean. We'll start with you, Sean. Tell me what you think about, did they make the right decision in sending the right person home?
In the words of the immortal Ron Freeman, uh,
Oh Lord, who is
it
about to get
depends
messy
on the
up in here?
it depends on the narrative what they're trying to push on the show. Um, because I think if Jonathan and Chance had not spoken up for Vanessa, maybe she would have gone home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can also see Patricia because she was cutting a little bit standoffish. Maybe she's not. She's getting acclimated to the area. I don't know how long she's been here in the DFW, or what have you, and maybe her
Ah,
personality. I
yes.
mean, because I'm on a Facebook group and people were talking about the jewelry she had on. Very expensive jewelry, $5,000 a pop. Those bracelets and that necklace she had on. I forgot what
Okay,
they called it,
yes.
but she her taste may be too high for the
Ooh.
quality of men that they're maybe. So they may have sent the right one home. I don't know what kind of narrative they're trying to push right now.
Mm. With that said
Yeah,
about the
yeah, and like
narrative,
Ellen V said, she was on and off on Twitter.
I'm sorry, say again,
Yeah,
Sean.
what Ellen V said, they said they sent the right woman home because she was going off on Twitter. You know, Patricia,
Ooh.
she was on her tirade about being sent home. You know,
Hmm.
I didn't catch that Twitter feed.
Hmm. Do you think, because it's come up every season, and why will we be the only YouTube channel to not talk about colorism? Because there's some that are saying they basically eliminated the darker hued woman of the six that were there. Um, or do you feel like perhaps because she really didn't seem to be connecting with the men, at least what we saw, because we know it's all edited, right? We know that if she had 20
Mm-hmm.
good minutes talking to this guy over there, they maybe decided not to show it. um I thought there was something. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't think we talked about this. They asked her about dating and her last relationship, and within that conversation, um, she seemed to have still been carrying some residue.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recall that conversation at all?
I
Yeah,
do.
I did.
Yeah, Jr. Talk about that a little bit before we close out and talk about whether they chose the right person or not. Let's go back. I'm sorry, guys. Let's go back for just a second, and Jr. Talk about that conversation and what you recall from that conversation and how she seemed to you in that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a very obvious thing to conclusion to arrive at based on how she was, and unfortunately, like one of my buddies always says, you're not climbing over walls in 2024, right? Them days are over. So if we detect that your walls are up, your guard is up, it's going to be too difficult to get over them, then yeah, it's not really going to be uh an attractive quality when you have women around you who don't have their walls up so high. It'll be easier and more fluid to get to know those ladies and date them rather than spend time trying to break down walls of what happened to you previously. So the best thing to do is to, again, to coin a phrase, sit on the bench and heal first, and then once you've healed, then you come out into the dating world.
Mm.
Unfortunately, everybody has exes, previous relationships, previous situations. But if there's carryover into your next situation and people pick up on it early, then yeah, nowadays it seems like people don't have the time or patience to want to sit there with you and go through it because they're not your counselor or your therapist; they're just your partner. Uh, so,
Yes.
so you have
Yes.
to make that distinction.
Right. And I think, would you say too, good points, JR, all of those. And would you say too, though, keeping in tone and mood of the mixer, I believe, and maybe I'm incorrect, but I think a mixer is to be lighthearted. I think one of you mentioned about it's got a speed dating kind of effect to it, right?
Hmm.
So I think what happened was whenever the guy asked her about her past relationship, and she got, I think she went too in depth. Like you said, everybody at this point at 35, 40, everybody should have had, except for, of course, Emily on Married at First Sight, who has never been in a relationship because she only has one night stands. So, of course, this doesn't apply to her because she doesn't have relationships, but everyone else at 35, 40 who has been actively dating for 20, 15, 20 years, you've probably
Hmm.
had a couple of relationships, and the reason why you're out dating again is because those relationships didn't quite work out, right? Um,
Exactly.
hmm but I think the thing, what I felt bad about Patricia is I think she went into trying to maybe give too much detail rather than just say, "Oh yeah, I had a past relationship and didn't work out, and here I am." Maybe offering that up because she talked about that she had done the work and she was healed when they were giving her exit interview, but then she started crying.
Hmm.
What did you make of her crying? Was she crying because she was eliminated and she wasn't going to be on the show, or was she crying because she was unhealed? What did you think?
Mm. Uh, could be both, could be one or the other. I think she was just upset at being sent home first.
Yeah, that part.
Because yeah, like the thing is, um, you have to be very self-aware to realize that you still have residue, as you call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if the people that you're interacting with can spot it straight away, then that's really the feedback that you need going forward to say that you're not healed, despite what you may think. If you've gone out into the dating world again, feeling like you've healed, and then you find that the people that you're interactive can detect it straight away, then you need to do more.
Mm.
Simple. But yeah, so I think she was just, someone's got to go home first, and unfortunately, I think it was a close call. I think it could have gone
Yeah,
either way.
it could have been Vanessa for sure.
Yeah,
You think that Chaz saved Vanessa? You think Chaz saved Vanessa from going home? Because
yeah, he probably
Exactly.
did. I mean, any
Exactly.
votes for her saved her, right?
mm-hmm.
But ultimately, it's a numbers game sometimes, and you're gonna have some people that may, like, one or two people may favor someone more than the other. So it's a numbers game. The best thing to do, in my opinion, like I said before, it's kind of like speed dating. So you want to keep it light, you want to keep it jovial, you want to keep it has some humor in there. Also, you want to have some really um, meaningful conversations, but not to the point where you're going to off put or jeopardize a potential connection. So,
Mm-hmm.
I assume there is a lot that goes into it. And for
Yeah.
some people, it's effortless.
Yes,
And
like
for some
Maya.
people, it's a real struggle to overcome,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, like I noticed, I agree with you. I noticed this episode. Now I'm gonna see how things go as we move forward, but I noticed this episode, the person that seemed to struggle the least or not at all, at least not from the edited clips that we saw, Maya, even when someone tried to kind of pivot her into exes, she mentioned that, yeah, I've loved before and it didn't work out. And she smoothly transitioned out of that. Like, you ain't backing me into that corner. Like,
Mm.
because I think the moment a woman gets to talking and reminiscing about an ex and you see that light go out in her eyes, it's no good. Like, don't allow these men to talk you into these talking about these exes. We ain't doing that on the first, second, third date. No, 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 no.
Yeah, but if the relationship question comes up, because that was one of the most prominent questions, like, what was your
Yes.
previous relationship like? Have you been
Mm,
married before? Those were
yeah,
being
answer
asked
it.
a lot,
Answer the
right?
question with a yes or a no. But I'm saying, as far as getting into the dirty details, oh yeah, and then I came home one day and caught him in bed with my best friend. I mean, it's
Okay. So, like,
why?
with the dude that was vulnerable, do you think that was wise for him to share, or do you think he should have just kept it surface? Said, "Yeah, you know what? I've had a kid before." Next question.
No, I think, like I said again, I think each person has to gauge who is the person asking, do I trust you? Like I tell you, JR, my main question I tell women, and now I'm saying to men too, do I feel safe? I feel like Chaz felt safe with Rashina, which is why he told her that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now
Right.
he'll have to deal, he has to be, here's the thing that I also say, you have to, as an adult, part of adulting and emotional stability is, if I tell you something that is vulnerable and close to my heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have to A, feel that I trust you and I feel safe with you, but B, what if? What if you're not a safe space? What if you
Mm-hmm.
run and go tell the whole town? What if you make fun of me? I have to B, trust myself that I have the inner strength and resilience to deal with that. And then
Right.
I can cross you off as being a safe space.
Of course, and you're 100% right. But again, the stage we're at with these guys and ladies,
Hmm.
they've known each other for less than a day. So a safe space so soon, I think that takes time to build up. Like, you build up a chemistry, a relationship over time, and that creates a safe space. To automatically meet someone and, I hope you're a safe space, so I'm just going to share this with you on a mixer meeting for the first time. Nah, that's a bad move.
Hmm. Okay. You're right. Technically, you're right, because you don't. He hasn't known her long enough to know if she's a safe space. But I guess the other part of that, what I could say though too, is that his son, from what he told us, has been gone. Would have been 20. He passed away at 6 months, so that's a whole 19 and a half years that he's
Yep.
had to heal. And
Hmm.
while I'm not a fond believer of the people say time heals all wounds, I call BS on that. I say that work heals the wounds. It's not the time, it's the work, and it's the resilience that you have and that you develop, right? So,
Hmm.
but hopefully in 19 years, hopefully he's healed, so that he's kind of answering the question, because it's going to come up, like we talked about. The question of, do you have children, for the men and the women, is going to come up. So now what is he going to say to the women? Well, no, I didn't have a child. He's going to deny his child that was born, that didn't live past 6 months, or is he going to tell the truth?
No, I mean, he can tell the truth, but he doesn't have to go into full detail. Okay, you don't know him. Um,
Okay. Okay.
so
So just say,
you can tell
yes,
the
I had
truth,
a child.
but just
Okay.
be very much mindful that you've just met this person. She could go home next week. She could have gone
Okay.
home that day, and you shared that. So
Mm, okay.
my thing is, there's nothing wrong with being vulnerable, nothing at all. But also bear in mind that you've known this person 30 seconds, so you don't know whether they'll go back and tell the ladies in deliberations. As we know from previous seasons,
Ooh,
they will go
yes, they
back
do
and
that,
they
don't
will
they?
cast dispersions on whatever they find out about some of the guys and vice versa, right? So
Mm.
that could be that could be something that might come up later if they feel that he hasn't fully recovered from it. Even though it was 2 decades ago, the fact is, if you're not married or have children and some at late 30s, 40s, then it's an obvious question. The next question is why not? Or what happened or what hasn't happened for you. Um, so it's a conversation piece, but ultimately there's nothing wrong with telling the truth, but just being a bit more measured in how far you
Hmm.
go with revealing everything.
Okay.
because
I
because
I get it.
again,
Uh-huh.
like you could say too much and then eventually the ladies go back to the deliberation and they say, yeah, you know what, I asked him about it and it seems like he was a bit down about it, so I don't think he's ready, similar to what they said about some of the ladies in
Hmm.
deliberation today, right?
Good point. So you're right. You can admit something or confess something or share something that's very intimate and personal and be vulnerable. And you're right. On this
Hmm.
show, in this setting, on this game show,
In the
the
backfire.
men or the
Hmm.
women can take it back into the deliberation lounge, and it can be the end of you, because if that person perceives, even if they're incorrect, if they perceive that you didn't get over it or you're not healed, or if they just want to eliminate you for whatever motivation and ulterior motive they might have, it could be the end of you. That's a very good point, JR. And in real life, as you said, that is a very good point. But I think that you made an excellent point. So do you think that let me go back up and start back up here with Sean, because we left off and we want to bring that in, that conversation about Patricia and her seeming to still have a lot of energy, negative energy related to her ex. So Sean, do you think that they made the right elimination, the right choice between Vanessa and or out of all the women that were there?
Well, it could very well be that they made the right choice. If anything, Patricia could have been painted as the bitter black woman or the angry black woman, um, with the way she was talking about her relationship. So sometimes, as I've seen on this show, people will fish for information, like Jr. said, only to you weaponize that against you. So
Right.
probably, the way she was talking about her ex, man, I don't know. I wouldn't want to deal with her. We just need to get rid of her. You need to get rid of her. But then on this particular side, I wonder how much control do the men's decisions, how much control do they have, and who really goes home with the way they vote. You follow me? Because like Ron has said that sometimes it's not even about what the men vote on. It's about the what's being pushed. You know, to see who goes home.
Mm. Well,
I
we
mean,
saw. Go ahead.
just like
Go ahead.
last week, just like last week with Demonte was sent home over William, and the lady was like, "Well, William, he came with sneakers on and all that, tennis shoes and all that." And I think he was underdressed and so forth and so on. And then you listen to his lack of being established. That he did not have a full game plan for his life, and to me, he seemed less polished than Demonte was. But nevertheless, Demonte was sent home because, according to them, they said he didn't have his credit straight and all that, and he didn't have himself together financially. I don't know, but anyway, it is what it is. It is what it is. Maybe you can ask Patricia that tomorrow night. How does she feel
What is
about
it?
her past relationships? How does she feel about her
Okay.
past relationships?
Okay. Oh, absolutely. We're gonna get into it. T and I are gonna get into it with her, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna get all the tea and find out a lot more. Cause I've been hearing from some castmates today as I was running the Sam's Club, totally forgetting that we were in the NFL playoffs. So I go to Sam's Club and the line is wrapped around the building. It's crazy. But anyway, I got what I needed, long story short. But anyway, I was talking to a castmate and they were telling me about the premiere party that was had, and I got a lot of inside tea, but I never divulged my inside tea like that. But we got a lot of
Oh
things to get
wow.
into with Patricia. Tomorrow she should be here at 7:30. I haven't public made public the thumbnail yet because I'm working on it, but it will be public probably within the hour. So you guys go over and like the thumbnail. Hit notification so you're notified tomorrow in case you forget that we're going to be here at 7:30. I know it's a weeknight, but that's early enough. 7:30 we'll be here. We'll be talking to the lovely Patricia Pretties, the first woman eliminated from this season, and we're also going to get into talking to her about blacks in technology. Because in case anybody missed it, technology is where a lot of the high paying jobs are. So, yeah, I know I did hate that too that she went home. And I do get what you're saying about the colorism. But this season, I have to wonder with Patricia also, and you guys, maybe you two gentlemen can chime in real quick. Was it also the fact that she mentioned she liked the tall guy because I think she said she's very tall, and I didn't know. I don't know if she said her height, but she did when she stood up. She looked like she could have been 5'10" or so.
I think she's like
Um,
5'11". Yeah, 5'10", 5'11".
5'10", 5'11". Yeah, so that's very tall. And do men not like if you're a man and you're only 5'9", do you want to date a woman that's 5'11"?
I'm like Maury. I'll climb that tree.
Yeah, y'all say that. That may be
I like
that may be
Maury.
pertaining that may be pertaining to something else besides the dating and the series. JR, back to you.
Well,
JR.
there's a saying here like you're the same height when you're both laying down, right? So
There you
Gotta
go.
get him a JR too.
That's
um,
it.
You
That's
men are all alike. You men are all alike.
but yeah, I don't think that played a factor at all. Like, there are some very attractive tall women and they like shorter guys for whatever reason. And but she specifically said she liked can't remember his name, my guy for his height, right? So it's just a preference thing and everybody has their different preference
Yeah.
and their desires. So it wasn't I don't think they held that against her, no. It was the
Mm.
guardedness that's got sent home.
Well, stay tuned. He does say that actually Patricia had a lot of competition at that mixer. And he said the other women, minus Vanessa, understood the assignment. So I don't know. I don't think he was wrong about that from what we saw anyway. Oh, you saying men don't usually care about height. Okay. I think the short guys don't because they know they're already short and the pickings are slimmer for them anyway. But I think you take your average size guy anywhere from 5'7" to 5'11". I think they might care that the woman is 5'11" and that when she puts on heels, she's over 6 feet. I think they might care. That's
It
my
Mm,
doesn't bother
feeling
me.
about it.
It doesn't
over
bother
there,
me.
maybe it
Hmm?
doesn't bother like a lot of people here. I mean, height isn't really something that determines whether the man's a good man or not. Um,
No, I
and
think
vice
it's
versa with ladies, it's just a physical feature, but it doesn't really
okay.
mean their personality or character is any different to anyone shorter.
Now that is an intelligent thing to say, but I'm saying at the end of the day, do you think that men are really wanting would get into a serious relationship? I'm not talking about the, as Sean put it, the climb the tree, because for me, the climbing tree comment is just it reeks of basically a physical relationship. But I'm talking about a real genuine loving relationship, a serious
No,
committed relationship. Would you
Yeah.
hold on,
I
Sean, hold on, Sean,
okay,
Jr.
okay,
Would
Mm,
you
okay.
would you get into a serious relationship, Jr. Would you get
hmm
into a serious relationship with a woman, let's say that's 2 inches taller than you, and when she goes out, she likes to put on the high heels, so now she's significantly taller than you. Would
Yeah,
you
I
would
wouldn't
you
care.
do it?
Listen, as long as it doesn't have affect her attitude towards me, like if like she can be taller than me, but she can't talk down to me.
Literally,
Right.
metaphorically or
Yeah,
literally. Yes.
exactly.
Okay.
Like
Right.
she can be taller. Like I don't mind that. Long legs, whatever. That's cool. But if her attitude is, oh, she's gonna sun me, or send me out like a kid because she's taller than me, or she doesn't have a level of respect for me because she's taller than me, then yeah, that's not going to be acceptable at all, you know. So that would get
Mm.
nipped in the bud. But if she's just a cool person, humble, nice, respectful, all of that stuff, then height doesn't matter. I don't really care about that. I won't be able to hold the umbrella for her, like when it's raining.
Right, right. I love it. Okay, okay, okay. Now, Sean, because Sean won't let me let him go because I talked about the climbing the tree comment. So, Sean, what you got to say in rebuttal? Mm-hmm.
I think okay. Now, as far as the climate tree comment, it was nothing referring to happy time or nothing like that. I
Okay.
just want to clarify that. But the
Mm-hmm.
other thing is, with me, it, I don't have a height requirement, or minimum height or maximum height, as far as like, now I'm not talking about like 4'3", 4'4", nothing like that. But I mean, if she's taller than me, so be it. I'm like JR, as long as she doesn't talk down to me. Uh, I think the thing
Okay.
I think the thing with me is more so of the age thing per se. I know that she's a grown woman at 25, at 30, but I just cannot seem to bring myself to date maybe a woman that's 25 or 30. I'm a man in my 50s now,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I can't see, and I think sometimes maybe in my head the way society looks at things, that you have an older woman and a younger man as opposed to a younger older man and a younger woman. If he's an older man
Mm-hmm.
and she's a younger woman, they think, oh, he's a sugar daddy. Versus if she's an older woman and he's a younger man, oh wow, he's a stud. He got to be a stud, man, with that,
Right. And she's a cougar.
But
She's a cougar, right?
yeah, she's a cougar. She's a cougar. So I don't. I mean, I know we're both grown at our respective ages, but I don't think I have the energy for a 25-year-old woman as far as and the grownness that I can't see her as being the grownness at grown at 25, whatever. Even though I know she is a grown woman, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's my only drawback, not the height, but I think the age thing with me.
Oh, okay. Well, what is your cutoff? What is your cutoff as a man that's in their 50s? What is your cutoff? What is your age range? What is the youngest that's acceptable?
Oh well, I got a large age range. I think, but the youngest with me would be maybe 35. Youngest would be 35. The oldest would be probably 58, 59.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So
Well,
35 to
there
59, that
there you
24-year
have it.
range. JR said,
Hmm.
mm.
I'm not gonna even ask. I've been told in the private chat that for me to stay out of people's personal business while we're live, we'll talk in the green room when it's just the three of us. So you guys will never know because I don't run my lips like that in these YouTube streets. What these people tell me, I will take to my grave. I promise you. I promise you. It's all secret to me because you know what? My mom taught me that as a little girl growing up, that when someone tells you something, they confide in you. That's between you and that person, right?
uh-huh.
And I believe
Uh-huh.
that. But so, Sean, let me get your contact information up because we're wrapping this thing up quickly. You guys did good. Thank you.
Oh
I
yeah.
wasn't feeling the
Yeah, we did
greatest
great. We did
today.
great.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling the greatest today.
Well,
Those of you out in the chat, and I just wanted to let them know that it's the reason why we wanted to kind of wrap things up. And I got to go celebrate the Lions win. This is like historic. Sean, tell the people they can reach you on IG. I got your contact there. Tell them anything you want to tell them about you. You've already told them your age range. Tell them again one more time. It's 35 to what?
35 to 59. 35 to 59. Um,
And they can drop
that's
the
my age
single ladies
range.
can drop down in your DM, right?
They can slide in my DMs. Slide on in the DMs.
Slide in your
Okay.
yeah, slide
Uh,
in your DM.
uh,
There you go.
uh,
Let me get my phrasing
yeah,
right.
you slide into my DMs. But I think I can be reached, as you see on the screen, on my IG at SANDRES1906. That's my Instagram. So just drop me a
Mhm.
line and say, hey, this is so and so so from actually Aubrey's channel. I just wanted to chat with you, see how you're doing.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, don't be afraid. I don't bite, what have you, and I would just love to converse with you. But also, you can reach me on the old modicum of Facebook. My first name is
Yeah.
Sean, Shaun. Last name is Stokes, Stokes. You can look for my picture. Of course, you see my picture on here, what have you. That's the same picture that's on my Facebook. If you look at my name on the side, what have you. So you'll see that there. That's two ways that you can reach me: Facebook and Instagram.
There you go. There you go. And now to JR. Thank you for that. JRXTV, Mr. VIP. Tell them where the people. I got the information where they can reach you, but tell them what your different platforms, what you focus on different
Uh
platforms,
huh.
please. Okay.
Okay. JRX TV on Instagram focuses more on exercise, well-being, fitness tips, things like that. Um, also, think more of a light-hearted um, take on both of those aspects. At the end of the day, your health and well-being is important, and it's something that some people neglect because work-life balance and pressures of life may get in the way sometimes. But ultimately, if you're healthy, then you create happiness and longevity in yourself. So you find that on the Instagram, JRX TV. YouTube is more about the other aspect of your well-being, which is your relationships, where I have conversations, super panels, chats about Black love, Black love reality TV shows such as what we are talking about tonight, with my esteemed colleagues, Aubrey, Sean. You might see me on some other platforms as well. But ultimately, your relationships play a part in your well being as well. Because obviously, if you're having um, uh, trouble in your relationships, it may spill over into other aspects of your life, and vice versa. If you're having trouble in other aspects of your life, it may also impact your relationships. So it's a holistic approach on both platforms: Instagram, JRX TV, and YouTube, JRX TV.
Wow, that's great. That is great. And guys, if you're here and you've been here for more than 5 minutes, why don't you go ahead and click that like button, like Kiki's telling you? Why don't you go ahead and subscribe? I know you're in the bushes. I know who you are, by the way. And I love telling you that because I really do know. And I talk about you on Monday with my girl Roro, the podcaster. I want to say a special shout out to Stay Tuned Reviews. Guys, if you haven't been over to Stay Tuned Reviews channel, you got to go over there. He did a very concise review of the new movie, The Color Purple, the new version. And I'm not going to give anything away, but go over and check out what his review is on The Color Purple. And I haven't seen it yet, so I can't really say whether he's spot on. But as always, always entertaining, always amusing. Um, I want to thank my colleagues and my special guests, my co-host, my panelists. Sean is here. He's always on time. He took his power nap today and said, "I'll be in." I'm not going to meet you for that foolishness, that tomfoolery over there on Married at First Sight, but I will be here for the Ready to Love review panel. And always, I can count on Jr. He's always here. He's always on the top of things and keeping us in our best ship shape. That's JRXTV from Mr. VIP. And you guys go on over, make yourself an appointment, Mr. VIP, because he does consultations. What is it, virtual, JR, also?
Oh yeah, definitely. If you have Wi-Fi, you have a phone or tablet or a laptop, then
Hmm.
worldwide, um, can book a session. If you're a member of a gym, can take me in there with you. If you're at home and you have space or have equipment at home, can utilize that space. So there's no escaping. Even if you want to go to the park, you can bring me there on your mobile device, book a session, and we can go through it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
There's,
ready
okay.
to readily available and here to help.
Here to help. Get into it, guys. Get into it. And I'm actually Aubrey. And on that note, guys, We are on our way out. We're going to shimmy and shake on our way out. And we'll see you back here, though, next Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And JR, what time is that in the UK? I think it's 11:30. I think JR may be indisposed right now, but it's
Fine.
11:30 UK time.
11:30 UK time.
Okay. I can
Hmm.
hear you back there in the back, JR. Okay. Don't you think I'm not aware? Okay. All right. Okay. We're going to shimmy and shake. As soon as I find this music, we're going to get on out of here. Where are you hiding, music? There you are.